Tassa bhagavato dhamma vinaye prabhajam yutiyampaham bhante suchira parinibhutam pitam bhagavantam saranang gacchami mancha bhikkhu sangancha labeyaham bhante tassa bhagavato dhamma vinaye prabhajam yutiyampaham bhante Suchira parinibhutam pitam bhagavantam saranang gacchami mancha bhikkhu sangancha labeyaham bhante tassa bhagavato dhamma vinaye prabhajam aham bhante Pabajam yachami imani kasayani vatani.
Take hand.
Why not give it?
Vatani. Aham bhante. Pabajam yachami kasayani imani kasayani vatani Bante Nukampang Upadaya Tutiyampi Bante Tutiyampi Aham Bante Abhajang Yachami Imani Kasayani Watani Gahitva Abhajeta Mangbante Anukampang Upadaya Tatiyampi Aham Bante Abhajang Yachami Imani Kasayani Watani Gahitva Abhajeta Mangbante Anukampang Upadaya
Now I can
after you use the one put in there.
No.
The other one.
No, this one will try around the
Okay, there you go. And you take
Yeah,
care.
it's come.
The bottle will come.
So it's about again.
and then again he says now I accepted the
This is where I would take it. Just in case someone I've given a thought and just in case
After saving, they become around. Then during the saving time, got around. Same comes down. In that rock, when you got water,
you can go back into what they're undertaking. They used to give them a talk and explain it. You tell them now they're taking their very difficult picture lessons to explain to them what the
that's why I don't do everything you said to do. That's why without any do, I'm going to be more things do every responsible. So now
most important
and you can have to come, you can tell that you and that. So still, he not only pro. He not take Saranaga, he not Sangha. And before Saranaga, he can do every talk. Still now not, if he got pro, he still not Sangha.
Excuse me?
Sorry?
Watch out, but
Ah.
Wah, apa saya dia?
Ini Aileen.
Ini lagi.
Ini lah itu ada walanda.
Can you move aside a little?
Sorry?
Can you move a little aside and more?
Pick up that
Yes, thank you. On that.
There's a controversy in Thailand about whether that way is correct. The Dharma youth, I think they're the ones who said that it's not correct for some reason. It's not really on the process. I just know there are two ways in Thailand. Well, I just know that the monastery where I come from is this. But no, just that's something like that. That's why but the book, see, there's a book in Thailand, and that book is put up by the strict guys, and they know what to say. So this is what we have in the book. We don't have a book for the other way. And there are again novices in the Cambodian monasteries, in the informal. So you would have, if you're doing a Dharma activity, so you would say this man, point you are ready to become a Samanera, to become one conference. What this means is that you're now going to take refuge in the Buddha and the Dharma and the Sangha. This is called the Tirasana. So first you're going to take the Buddha as your refuge. This means that you're now under the guidance and under the protection of the Buddha. And it's your responsibility to not denigrate or speak badly about the Buddha, and to respect and to think of the Buddha as your guide and leader for the time that you're a son, during the time that you're a son. But to take the Buddha means to take his example as your guide. So the Buddha's example of his enlightenment, his purification. And the Buddha had three special qualities about him. The first one was his parisuddhikun, which means he was perfectly pure. You couldn't find any trace of greed, anger, delusion, or even any bad habits in him. So he was totally purified of any impurity. His panyadikun, his wisdom. So the wisdom that the Buddha had to teach the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Noble Path, Four Satipatthana, and so on. The wisdom that he had to become fully enlightened and to understand the way reality works, and to understand what they call to have sabanyutan, which means he knew anything he thought of, he could know for himself. And number three, Mahakaruṇādikun. He had great compassion for the world. So once he became enlightened, he just had realized this truth. He didn't keep it to himself. He was invited to teach by Brahma and went on to teach for 45 years. And so I think of these three qualities, this is what we mean, or this is how we understand to be the Buddha. This is the first refuge. The second refuge is the Dhamma. So you take the Dhamma as your guide and as your practice. And now when you're expected to follow the Dhamma as your guide and as your path, and you're to try your best to study the Tipitaka. If you can memorize the whole Tipitaka, that's the best. If you can't, you can memorize just one Nikaya. If you can memorize one Nikaya, you can memorize one piece of one. At the worst, you can learn enough to practice meditation. And if you learn enough to practice meditation, then you go on to practice vipassana, which means to actually put the teachings into practice, to realize them for yourself. Taking the Dhamma as your refuge means you don't say bad things about the Dhamma and you don't joke about it and so on. And you consider this to be your path now, your way. And really taking it as a refuge would be when you become enlightened and realize the Dhamma for yourself. That is what it means to take refuge. Third one is your refuge will be the Sangha. So the Sangha will be your protector and your guide as well. You have to pay respect to the monks. When you see monks, you have to at least try your best to be respectful to them and helpful to them. And when visiting monks, you can ask them if they need water or so, and care for them. And you will take them as your guide and your example. So you will try your best to learn from them and to be respectful to them as your teachers. And finally, you will take them as an example. These are the people who have followed the Buddha's teaching just as you're now intending to follow the Buddha's teaching. And so you take them as your example, as your guide, and try to do as they do, to realize the Dhamma for yourself. It's important to understand the significance of this event. I've made it clear to you that it's really not a commitment, but you should understand that it actually does have some significance. There are four, in the Buddha's teaching we understand that there are four difficult things to attain, and now you've attained all four of these things. The first one is to be born in a time when the Buddha's teaching has arisen. The time it took for the Buddha to become enlightened is not just a week or two. It took four uncountable Sangha, which means the time that you can't count how long, four of them. Something that you can't count, 4 times. And a Sangha, to give an example, if you had a pit that was 1 league wide and 1 league long and 1 league deep, this is 16 miles, 16 cubic miles. And every 100 years, every 100 angel years, which is 336,000 human years, you drop a sesame seed in the pit. The time it takes for the pit to be full and then take the seeds out one by one every 180 years. The pit will be full and then empty again before the sunset. And so this is what my teacher always said, explained. So I'm explaining to, I'm passing on a tradition. This story. This is what an Sangha is. 4 of those it took, and 100,000 mahaka. That's how long it took for it to become. And now you have been born in the time when that teaching has come to its fruition, and it's still here, and will be here only for another 2,500 years. So you have attained that difficult thing to find. The second one, you've been born as a human being. So if you had been born in this time, but you had been born as a frog, or you had been born as a buffalo, it wouldn't be easy to come and realize the Buddha's teaching. So not only are you here in the time of the Buddha, but you have enough purification in your mind, enough purity and punya in your being to be born as a human being. This is the second difficult thing that you have to take. The third one is that you have the opportunity to ordain. You are a person with a sound mind and body. You don't have any debt. You don't have any responsibilities. You don't have a wife and children. You aren't a person who is addicted to drugs or escaped convicts or someone with sickness. Some people die when they're young. Some people lose an arm, lose a leg. You have none of that. You've survived for 19 years and actually made your way to this moment where you're about to become a Sangha. It's not something that's easy to find. The fourth one is that you actually want to become a Sangha. Because the Buddha said it's very difficult to find people who know what has to be done, know that it's good to become a Samanera, good to become a Buddhist meditator, know that it's good to meditate. But it's even harder to find the people who actually do it. People who actually say, I'm going to go and do it. And you've done that. You've now taken the initiative. You could have said, I don't want to ordain, I'll take the easy path. I just want to live my life and I can practice a little bit of meditation here and there. And now you've said, no, this is something that really has meaning. It's something that I can use to help myself and the world as well. This is something that is very difficult to find. It's something that most people are not able to get involved inside of themselves. So this is something that you should take seriously and be proud of yourself, that you've now come to the point where you're in a room with people who are overjoyed to see you and also think this important. That being said, you know the most important thing is to practice. So you don't want you to take this too seriously and putting pressure on you. Because there shouldn't be pressure on you because the pressure is on every human being and all the people here. We all have to practice this in teaching. The Buddha said, Apamadena Sangha. We have to strive on and on. Okay? So now comes the time where you request the 3 refuges and you just take on the perception of the minute. Ready? Okay.
Aham bhakti sarana silam yachami Dutiyampi aham bhakti sarana silam yachami Tatiyampi aham bhakti sarana silam yachami Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa 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 Namo Namo Buddham saranam gacchami Buddham saranam gacchami Dhammam saranam gacchami Dhammam saranam gacchami Sangham saranam gacchami Sangham saranam gacchami Dutiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami Dutiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami Dutiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami Dutiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami Dutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami Tutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami.
Sarvagamanam Nititaya.
Dhammaga
Panatipata Veramani.
Anatipata Veramani.
Adinadana Veramani.
Adinadana Veramani.
Abrahmacharya Veramani.
Brahmacharya Veramani.
Musavada Veramani.
Musavada Veramani.
Surameraya Manja Pamada Ana Veramani.
Suraya
Sura
Sura Merya Majja Pamadatana Veramani.
Vikala Bhojana Veramani.
Vikala Bhojana Veramani.
Nacha Gita Vadita Visuka Dasana Veramani.
Nachagita Patika Visuka Dasana Veramani.
Mala Gandha Vilekana Dharana Mandana Vibhosana Thana Veramani.
Mala Gandha Vilekana
Dharana
Dharana
Mandana
Mandana Vibhusanatana Veramani.
Jata Rupa Rajata Patigahana Veramani.
Jata Rupa Rajata Patigahana Veramani.
Imani Dasa Sikha Padani Samadhiyani. Uchasayana Mahasayana Veramani.
Uchasayana Mahasayana Veramani.
Jata Rupa Rajata Patigahana Veramani. Jata
Jata Rupa Rajata Patigahana Veramani.
Imani Dasa Sikha Padani Samadhiyani.
Imani Dasa Sikha Padani Samadhiyami.
Again.
Imani Dasa Sikha Padani Samadhiyami. Imani Dasa Sikha Padani Samadhiyami.
Prostrate 3 times. Can you do the blessing for him? Now you're a Samanera. You were a Samanera when you took the 3 refuges. But as a Samanera, you have to keep the temple. So every 2 weeks, every week goes with it. You have to take it in the temple. Now your name from now on is Nagasena. So if you become a monk, you have to bring that name into your upachaya. And when they ask Kinamosi, you say Aham Bante Nagasena, Nagasena Nama. Nagasena Nama. Nagasena Nama, but that's the Katmami Bhakti. Nagasena Nama, that's what you have to say.
Name?
Because we can't use Nick, you can't say Aham Bante Nick Nama, it doesn't work. So we have to give you a power. Now your name is Nagasena. American Nagasena. So in case you meet another Nagasena, you can tell me.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Itipiso Bhagava
Samma Sambuddho Vidyacharana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarati Sattha Deva Manussanam Buddho Bhagavati Akhato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditthiko Akariko Ehipassiko Kanaiko Paccattam Veditabbo Vinyuhi Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Jupatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Nyaya Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Samici Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Yadidam Chattari Purisa Yugani Atta Purisa Puggala Esa Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakkineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttaram Punyakettam Lokassati Karaniya Matta Kusalena Yam Tan Santang Padang Avisamecca Sakko Juca Sujuca Suvaco Chassa Mudu Anakimani Santussako Ca Subaroca Appakicco Ca Salaugavuti Tindriyo Janipakoca Appakabbo Kulesu Ananugigdo Nacakuddang Samacare Kinciena Vinyo Pare Upavadeyo Sukino Vake Mino Hontu Sabbe Satta Bhavantu Sukitatta Yeke Jipana Bhutatti Tasavata Varava Anavasesa Dikavaye Manta Majjhima Rassaka Nukatula Dikkavaye Radikkaye Chature Vasanti Avidure Bhutava Sambhave Siva Sabbe Satta Bhavantu Sukhitatta Naparo Parang Nikubbeta Nati Manyeta Kattachinang Kanchi Vyarosana Patiga Sanya Nanya Manyassa Dukkhamicchaya Matayatani Puttam Ayusa Eka Puttam Anurakhe Evampi Sabba Bhutesu Manasam Bhavaye Aparimana Mettancha Sabba Lokasmin Manasam Bhavaye Aparimana Buddhang Adoca Kiriyancha Asambhadang Avirang Asapattan Tikkang Charang Visinno Vasayano Vayavatassa Vigatamiggo Etang Sating Adikkaya Brahma Metang Viharam Nidama Diktincha Nupagamma Sila Vadassanena Sampanno Kamesu Vinaya Gedam Naijatu Gabbaseyam Punareti Sakkantu Sabba Devata Sabba Buddhanubhavena Sada Sutti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sabba Mangalang Rakkantu Sabba Devata Sabba Dhammanubhavena Sada Sutti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sabba Mangalang Rakkantu Sabba Devata Sabba Sanghanubhavena Sada Sutti Bhavantu Te.
Sri Lanka, most venerable monks, they are in home in front, go behind, they write about Udang Gunung Mahana. That means don't take too much conceit. Most venerable monks also use that word, they put in home behind the door. When they close the door, they can see that word. Write it, Udang Mahana. It means you don't make conceit. Mana, you don't take mana, just the meaning of mana explain. So you can tell him you just translate. So I want to tell you, and you can translate for you.
This was easy to consider. Because The problem is when you ordain as a monk, it's very easy to think that now you're something. As I just said, you're something, you're not something. And for people who have never been anything before, it's
Then that is more general now.
It can be that you become very conceited as a result, because maybe people will bow to you. When people bow to you, you just start to think. I'm very careful of this. In Sri Lanka, the most venerable monks, the highest, very senior monks, they will put this on their door, on the inside of the door, so that when they close the door every time they can see. And you don't have to do that, just keep it up here. But you can put it. You can also put your mind and you can see that because now you're in a position of esteem.
Until Arahant we have mana, without that we need to control.
But in this country you can see especially people who very much respect you, so you're in a place, a position of esteem. You have to take that with some measure of severity that you don't abuse it and think. Order people around and scold the lay people and control them. But it's okay because eventually you meet someone who says nasty things about you and then you'll soon lose your mind.
Those who don't get upset when people stand up. When they sit and you can't, they say suddenly stand up.
The Nikaya appear left freedom. You know what is called. In the beginning, in Nikaya, some people think local demand become now king came and Samanera stand up. That's why we choose good quality people, but that is a good way. That's why you need to keep it, monk and Samanera and monk, you need to keep. And you need to, if king also came, you need to stand up.
The other side of it is you can't now work for the work people or act on their behalf or run errands for them. You can act as a doctor for them. So, unless they're living in a monastery and help them, then you can give them medicine and so on. But people in the village you can't work for them. So you are in a bit of a position. You don't have to think of yourself as higher than them.
He knows that's a Dharma. They told us
That's the Dharma.
They told us that in the beginning there weren't any rules, even the Rahula, he used it as kind of
Just the Dharma. Well, it's in
to reflect
we used to keep that on our wall. Actually, chanted.
Camera na ngayon dulu.
Udah ikan apa kan?
be of much merit to English speaker.
He can explain. People can
Sangha power कर लेगा
पूजा कर
The idea is to separate yourself.
It's not proper for us to give the name
My recommendation is write what you want to
Take two take your bowl.
Udah mau kucing juga.